This is Christina Eve, and welcome back to my channel, Shine Strong, Live Long, where I inspire personal and spiritual development so that you and I can become who we were designed to be with intentionality. Welcome back to Shine Sessions. Today is episode 7, and I have author, motivational speaker, praise and worship leader, Shantel Athena. Hi, Shantel. Introduce yourself.
Hi Christina. Hi everybody. I am Shantel Athena. So excited to be here. I'm an author, motivational / inspirational speaker, life coach, owner of a nonprofit. You name it. As long as it has something to do with serving, I'm probably doing it. But I'm so happy, excited to be here, and thank you all for having me.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. So, author, motivational speaker. She is a praise and worship leader, guys. She has a beautiful voice. She does all of these different things. She has so many capacities. Yes, I am like gonna hype her up because when I was younger, she spoke at a church that I went to and visited, and she motivated me, you guys. So I want to ask you, how do you juggle all of this? What motivates you to just keep going?
Well, I believe that the drive inside of me helps me keep going. I just have this ultimate passion and goal to really be in right alignment for what I believe Christ has called me to do while I'm here in this life. I'm a heavy believer in the reason why I am here is for a purpose, and I want to fulfill that purpose. But outside of that, the way I juggle everything, I put myself on a schedule. So literally I schedule my life from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. And most people would probably call me a workaholic, but I beg to differ because in my schedule, I actually place resting time. So I actually schedule myself to rest and recuperate and all of that. So that way I can be healthy and strong and ready to go the next day to juggle it all again.
That's awesome. See, I can relate to that. And see, other people think workaholic is wrong. I say you just maximize all of the time that God has given you to be the most productive that you can be, and the fact that you put rest in your schedule is really good because some people are learning that. So, your book, The Best Kept Secret. Let me tell you, I really enjoyed reading this book. It was so intimate. Like some of the things that you put in here, I was like, oh man, she's telling her business, but I needed to hear this. And it was so impactful to me, because I think everybody can relate to being in the place where you were during the beginning part of this book. So thank you so much for writing this. So we're going to dive a little bit into that. What inspired you to write this book, and who is it for?
Well, the reason why I wrote the book, The Best Kept Secret, honestly, I wrote it during my own process of understanding the best kept secret. I was in my own place, and I described some of it in the book, but I was just kind of in a downtrodden place, not understanding where I was as I was pursuing my purpose. Because a lot of times, I hate to say, yes, we are pursuing our purpose while we're here, but that word can sometimes be such a big word, especially in the Christian among believers, right? It's like, purpose, what's my purpose, right? You get all frazzled because it's like, what in the world does that mean? But when I'm thinking of purpose, the thing that burns within inside of me that I believe that I'm supposed to do. So in my case, it's serving and helping the youth. In my case, it's motivating and inspiring others. So that thing that burns within inside of me, and I kind of felt like I was in a stuck place with being able to achieve some of the goals that I had in my head to be able to pursue this purpose. Not even just in my head, but what I believe the Lord placed on my spirit. I talk about in the book how I went to Israel, and the Lord placed on my heart, pretty much this grand revelation on how I would actually pursue serving people, serving the youth. But then when I got back from Israel, nothing lined up, and it just has been a trial after trial, season after season. And after a while, I started feeling like, all right, well, maybe I didn't hear correctly, or maybe, the Lord is, changed his mind, or, God is moving for other people, but he's not moving for me. And just all of these different things was just flowing to the point where I kind of just got tired. And I was pursuing like things in media and stuff like that. Stuff in my career field wasn't going right. And so I ended up in a different career field, which is teaching, which I don't mind teaching, but I didn't love it. That wasn't the thing that I wanted to do. So it was just a lot of things that I felt like it's not happening the way I saw it. And so I was tired, and I was going through personal stuff with my family. I talk about that in the book. And so I was seeking out the best kept secret myself. Honestly, I was seeking out the best kept secret to figure out how can I be restful in the wait. And that's what the best kept secret is all about understanding how to rest in the wait. How can I be at peace in the wait as we are in our waiting season? And so the best kept secret is written for those who might feel stuck, or might feel, that, they prayed all the time, but the Lord is not answering, or you tried this and you tried that and you went through this door and that door and the other door. But it just seems like things are not working, but yet you still have a desire, a burn to keep going, but you don't know in which direction, right? The best kept secret is for you, because what I've learned with writing the best kept secret, we cannot rush the process while we're pursuing whatever it is that we're desiring to pursue, but we can learn how to rest in the wait. We can learn how to be peaceful in the process, or be at peace, I should say, in the process, or be calm and not flustered and not tired and weary, right? So that's who the best kept secret is for, and that's why I wrote it.
Beautiful. See, great answer. And you were right. My favorite part about the book itself was the way you wrote it, because obviously, there's so many. I don't want to spoil the book for those who haven't read it, but I will say that you take us through where you were, and then you take us through this journey of you kind of finding that rest, finding peace, and being patient and all of that in the process. And you put your frustrations out there, and it's so relatable. So let me go to the next part. There's a part of your book where you say, and I quote, "Are you hearing me? I'm angry. Are you seeing me? My faith is failing. This is my final cry. Please come save me." You write about how you felt this way, but how others too have felt this way before. And that just, that feeling of helplessness when you really know, you thought what you came in with all of the bells and whistles, you were ready, you were pumped to do something. And then, like you were saying, you're just met with all these obstacles, and it makes you doubt. And then you get beat up so much, you feel helpless. But you then go to say that if we dwell on these things, these very real feelings that we have too long, then they could be damaging, and they could damage our hope. And that's something that we really need for survival. And hope is so important. And I'm glad you brought that up in your book, because it takes a lot to get from dwelling on things like that to becoming hopeful. So tell me how you got from where you were in the beginning of the book to finding this hope that you had towards the end.
Well, honestly, like I said, it was me going through the process of understanding the revelation that the Lord gave me. I'll drop this nugget. I like to think that my life is kind of like Joseph. And if you read the book, you'll understand a little bit why, I resemble, or I look at him as an example of some things that I've been through. And if you don't know the story of Joseph, again, get the book or go into Genesis chapter 37. It'll help you out. No. But just understanding, long story short, Joseph went through a lot. And why I looked at him the most was because out of all of the Bible stories that I know, out of all the different trials and tribulations, whether it was Moses, whether it was Abraham, Jonah, whether it was Job, all of these all of these men of God, they went through something, and they voiced their frustration. But nowhere in the story of Joseph does he voice his frustration. And so that's what dinged me, like, how did you do it? Like, Joseph, how did you do it? Like, out of all the stories that I've read, out of everything that I've read in the Bible, that he's one of the stories that I don't remember him voicing a level of frustration behind all the things he was going through. And I wanted to know how to get that rest. Like, that's just something that I wanted to know. I wanted to know how to get that peace about an unfortunate situation. And so, honestly, the Lord took me through that revelation again. You can go read about it in the book, because I talk about it in the book. But one of the things that I will share is, I always share this part. I understand that I found the Godwins. And I talk about the Godwins in the book. And the Godwins, in my perception, is what some other people would call the little wins in life. I understood how to look at, yes, I was in a bad situation and going through many obstacles, and everything around me physically looked bad. Absolutely, right? But somewhere in those bad spots, there were good spots. And I learned how to call those good spots my Godwins. And I learned how to use those Godwins to help me focus on where God was actually moving in my life. Because this is when I realized it's all about perception. And it goes back to the book a friend of mine introduced me to years back. It's called The Noticer. And that also talks about the perception and different ways God can give us perception. It's all about how we think, right? So if we are just literally focused on all of the traumatic stuff that's happening around us, we will never be able to see those little good things that are happening, those God wins that are happening. And then we just see, it looks like God is not moving. When he actually is moving, we just have to see those spots where he is moving, and then and acknowledge him for that. And then use that to help source and help fuel our strength, so that we can get out of being helpless and become hopeful. So that's pretty much how I got to understanding how to, the beginning, I should say. It was the beginning of understanding how to lose my helplessness and reestablish my faith. Because like you said, I said, my faith is failing. And I'm going to be real with everybody. One thing that Christina probably knows about me now, I don't care about telling my story, because in my book, like she said, I put my business out there because the reality of the situation is, I believe that transparency is the key to help others understand that, you're not the only one that's going through this, right? So with that being said, I really believe that understanding that those God wins and identifying the fact of my faith was failing, period. I was tired, period. Like, I'm not going to say to the point of I was going to just denounce and say that God wasn't existent, but I'm talking about my faith was failing concerning my purpose, right? My purpose in life. And so I had to figure out how to reestablish that. And that was finding where God was moving in my bad situation, finding those God wins.
Yes, that part blessed me too. And I was trying not to so I'm glad you brought it up, because that part, I was just like, wow, that's so right. Because we can dwell on, I'm not where I want to be, and then ignore the blessings that God is just like doing for us all throughout. And we can miss, and I talk about it too on my channel, the small ones, you're right, but the God ones is what that's what it should be called, the God ones. I love towards the beginning of the book, you start with a moment that caused you to reflect on what your outward appearance was communicating to others about what your spirit was saying or what your spirit was going through. And you talked about your face, right? And you were saying that you didn't realize that you were probably putting off a vibe that you had no intention to put off, right? So what did that moment of introspection do for you? And why is it so important for us to start with ourselves? Because you started the book talking about yourself.
That moment actually made me sad. It made me sad to see that I didn't realize that I was so hurt, that I was bleeding, as people would say, bleeding on the people. I was bleeding on people that, even if I wasn't, because I'm not the person that'll go up and just start like, I don't want to say like preaching or anything. I'm not going to go up and like just have just a random conversation. So most of the time, people understand the Christ that lives within me because of they've spent time with me long enough to understand who I am. I want to be just a regular living, walking example, right? And so it made me sad because when I realized, because I'm so hurt, I didn't realize that I was projecting this hurt energy without even saying a word. Right? Like without even saying a word, it was just this discomforting energy that was being projected off of me, and which was literally spewing the people away from me. And that is literally opposite of who I'm trying to represent. If I'm saying that I represent Christ, if I'm saying that I am a believer, that means everything about me needs to represent that. What word and deed and outward look, right? Like all of it has to represent that, because I am a firm believer. I am not perfect at all by any means necessary. But I am a believer that I want to try my best, wholeheartedly try my best to not be that one Christian that causes a non-believer to say, see, that's why I don't want to be a Christian now. See, they doing that. So why do I even need to change? They're fake Christians. I don't want to be that, right? I want who I represent to truly be represented. Even so, if I'm not saying a word, I don't want my persona or my spirit or my energy to be negative. I need it to be warm and welcoming, right? And so I didn't realize that my own hurt, my own frustration, my own depression was projecting that until things started happening that at first was odd, but then I was like, no, too many people are saying this. Too many people are saying, something's going on with you, or, you're stuck up and all of this stuff. And, sometimes you don't take everything to heart, because sometimes people are just being people. But yeah. I couldn't just take that as people are just being people, because the bottom line is, if I am a witness for Christ, I need to do a self-check. I need to understand what is going on with me first. I don't care, even if people are being people, I need to allow the Lord to deal with me so I can decipher the part that they're just being people and the part that is actually true, the true part of it. And then I have to accept it and then go to the Lord so that he can deal with me about it.
Awesome. See, I just make me so happy. Everything that you brought up is just like so needed to be said, because a lot of people, they go to church and they feel like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian, I go to church, I believe in God, but it's in your whole walk, right? If the Holy Spirit dwells within you, then people should be able to see Jesus in all of what you do, how you say, how you talk and walk and interact with others. And that was very helpful for me too, because sometimes I'm just like, I need to pay attention to how am I carrying myself, especially if I say that I'm a follower of Christ. So you have a book club, which is great, because there's so much in this book that is discussable topics. And I saw some of the stuff you had on social media. Young girls are a part of your book club. So tell me about your book club.
Yes, I love my book club, honestly. We're getting a lot of stuff out of it. It's not just young girls. We do have a guy. I told him, I said, I promise I'm going to try to get some more guys in here. I promise. But he definitely loves the book. He came to me. He actually brought 2 copies, because one of the copies he's actually writing in, and the other copy he wants to just have as a clean version. So he loves the book, but all of them, love coming to the book club. My book club is on a 5-session cycle. So we are about to be on session 3 coming the next week. And we're excited about it because it's just an open discussion. Like we, talk about, they read the chapters before they come, and then we kind of discuss the chapters and we relate it to our own lives. We just got finished talking about the Godwin chapter, and that was a hard chapter because some of them were like, so what happens if you can't see any good things? What if everything is bad? And I mean, some people really, stuff is so bad that it is hard to see the good things, right? And so we had to discuss, and I had to really get them to think about. I told them, I said, as cliche as this sounds, just the fact that you're sitting here breathing right now is a good thing, right? And that sounds very cliche, but it's very true. But then I had them think even more, like, you have this going on. Are you able to do this? And they're like, oh, yeah. So it's an open discussion session. It's a coaching session. It's because the purpose of the book club is to dive deeper into the book. And I also offer my coaching expertise, and I kind of dive deeper into the revelation of the book, because after the book club is over, my goal and my prayer, honestly, is more so of a prayer, is that you leave with feeling hopeful, more hopeful than you did when you first came, and with the strategies to continue to remain hopeful. Because what happens is the book gives you 5 strategies on how to reestablish your faith, right? But here's the reality of the situation. Something else is going to happen. You're going to feel like, you're probably going to feel like this again, right? And so the book is also designed to help you be reminded of the strategies that we've learned, and to do them all over again.
That is awesome. So, in addition to this book and the book club, and this isn't your first book, this is your second book, just so everybody knows, right? It's your second, right? Not your third, second. All right, we're waiting on the third. You are also the executive director of Silent No More, and this is a nonprofit that you have. So tell us about your nonprofit and what kinds of things do you do in the community?
Yes, Silent No More is definitely my birthing baby, is what I got in Israel when I was there. And pretty much Silent No More is a coaching program that helps coach literally third graders through young adults. And I know that sounds like a big, a wide range of people, but it's because we literally have a program established for elementary, middle, and high, and then a young adult program. And all of it is about motivation and about helping the individuals establish grit so that they can get to their success place. So it goes back into the idea of, if I'm enduring obstacles, in my life, then how can I go beyond those obstacles and get to where I desire to be in life? Pursue my goals. This nonprofit focuses more so with the disadvantaged youth and teens and young adults, those who probably might come against more obstacles with, whether it's personal or just with schooling and stuff like that. And so we just kind of help them. We coach them. We give them skills, vision boards. We do STEM activities. We do anything to help, build grit. And eventually we're going to get to the place where we give scholarships and stipends for young adults who desire to start a business. So it's still growing, but we are definitely excited for all the things that's coming with Silent No More.
I know that the communities that you serve are really excited too, probably, because they're going to be the ones that are benefiting. So that's awesome. So after listening to this interview, whoever is listening to this, if they're interested in buying your book, being a part of your book club, or supporting your nonprofit, what are some ways they can do that and get involved?
Yes. So the quickest way to definitely stay up to date is to follow me on Instagram. My Instagram name is my name, Shantel Athena. And so follow me on Instagram, and all the updates, I literally update everything on Instagram. Outside of that, you can also go to my website, which is shantelathena.com. So everything's easy, just my name, and you'll see information about the book first, and then if you go to the homepage, you'll get more information about Silent No More and the programs, stuff like that. So everything between Instagram and my website. So Shantel Athena on Instagram, and shantelathena.com on my website.
That's awesome. You are well branded, girl. Love it. Because that was very simple, you guys. So you'll be able to find her for sure. So thank you so much, Shantel, for coming onto the show today. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And you all, oh yeah, how can they get your book, girl?
Yes. Okay. So some exciting news. First and foremost, you can get my book off of my website. You can also get it off of Amazon. It's on Amazon. The direct link for Amazon is on my Instagram page, but of course you can search it in the search engine on Amazon and it'll be there. But the third thing actually happened today. I finally dropped off my books at Heaven and Earth in Virginia Beach. And so if you are in the Virginia Beach area, head to Heaven and Earth. Go get my book because, they're starting it off as a trial run. So you guys got to get it so they know that, the second shipment can come in and be expecting a book release at Heaven and Earth very soon.
Oh, awesome. That's great. See, I got it from Amazon, but I think I might stop by Heaven and Earth just to see it so I could take a picture with it. You know what I'm saying? But thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm just I don't know. I'm just overwhelmed with just all that you had in this book and just you and your spirit. And you're just such a motivation. So I just pray God's blessings and that you continue to just move forward in all that God has called you to be.
Thank you.
And for everybody who's listening, remember that today is a new day, a day where you and I have the opportunity to choose better, love stronger, and shine brighter than the day before. Shine strong, live long.